I'm sitting here thinking on the continent of Africa with all of the natural resources that's on the continent. And then thinking about all of the black Africans that originate there. Africa is the motherland of every natural resource. And it's mind blowing to me that, I hear other countries, other nations say things like, Africa's natural resources belong to everybody. No, it belongs to the dark continent. It belongs to the Africans. But what's mind blowing to me is that Africa is so underdeveloped compared to, say, the United States, Russia, China, even Korea, to the point where the Africans need people of other nations to come in and to develop the continent. So my question is, where are all the black scientists in Africa? Where are all the construction workers, the builders, the farmers? You mean to tell me they have no real farmers among the native Africans? What about the real leaders? Now, I understand that there's issues with the political leadership in Africa because you have Africans that are fleeing to the point where many of them, I've read articles where many are being sold into slavery. They're being sold into captivity, but yet it does not appear that the African government is doing anything to get those people back. And why is it that Africans need white people or Asians, Chinese, China, to come in and develop Africa? You would think that all of the Africans that come to America, that go to the UK, different parts of the globe, they can speak multiple languages. They brag about the languages that they're able to speak. And they make fun of the so-called black Americans for not being able to speak more than one language. They laugh and scoff at black Americans that many of us remain in the condition that we're in, but yet we're in a country or a nation that have everything, all of the opportunities that yet many of us are not taking advantage of. They come here and give the impression that they are much smarter than so-called black Americans, but yet they're fleeing a continent that is literally a diamond mine, have every natural resource. So why is it that there are no political leaders there, no scientists, no farmers, no construction workers that say, listen, this is our home, we're natives here, so we are going to build this up. If we need machinery, we have negotiators that can negotiate some of our natural resources to get what we need and what we want, so that we can modernize the continent of Africa. But instead, they always seem to be subject to someone else, someone that's outside. White South Africans, it used to get on my nerves to hear the white minority rule in South Africa. So now that they're pushing the whites out, China is now coming in to rape the continent of Africa. Why aren't there any negotiators that's negotiating the natural resources? The monies from the natural resources should go back into the continent. Build businesses. have real African farmers. And I'm sure that there's African farmers there, but yet, why is it that whites own the majority of the land? How did that happen? So my question is, what is wrong with the Africans on the continent? Why are you fleeing your land? Why don't you take the education that you get here in Syracuse University and other universities around the United States and the world? Why don't you take that information that you use, the skills, the experiences that you get from working in, say, hospitals here? Why don't you take that same information and go back home to build the continent of Africa, or build the country within the continent that you reside in? Why is it that you're running here to mix with the Europeans? And you come here and now you take on, which is a totally different video, you take on the culture of the so-called Black Americans that you scoff at, laugh at, and feel that you're superior to. So this is just a question. It's an open question to my fellow Africans out there. What is wrong with you? Why aren't you staying in the continent of Africa? Why are you subjecting yourself to humility and slavery? I'm seeing all of these Africans, man, on slave ships, man. I'm sitting there looking like this is 2018. I can't believe that this is actually happening in 2018 and they're not fighting. They were very docile. They were very calm and submissive. But yet they're allowing these few white people to take them into captivity. What is wrong with Africa that the natives are fleeing? What is wrong with Africa that the natives that do come to other countries and get educated, for the better term, and remain? You don't go back home to build where you're from. Why? You guys own the natural resources of the world. And it's mind-blowing that there's no one to negotiate those natural resources. If any country, nation, or what have you come over there and want to share in those natural resources, you should be able to negotiate that out. The people should not be poor. No one in Africa should be poor. Africa should be the most developed continent in the world. They should be the most developed, more than the United States. They should be the leaders of the world. But instead, other nations are coming there and raping the continent, and the natives are fleeing. And it seems that very few politicians are the ones that's in control. So feedback, tell me what you think, subscribe, share this video if you choose to, and go to WordPress, which the link is on the bottom, and follow me on WordPress. Until next time, I'm fearless.